So we live, y'all. I'm out here waiting on my Uncle Said. So Uncle Said we need you. I'm gonna go to my live channel, Uncle Said, and I'm posting a link into the chat box. It's right there on the side, Uncle Said, at 9:40 a.m. I'm posting a link. I need you to click in, Uncle Said, and we're gonna talk.
On what?
On my TNT, you'll see my. I'm sitting in the front room, Uncle Said, by the front room.
Yeah.
You should see me talking.
Mm-hmm.
You see me?
Yeah. You got on your TNT cap and shirt?
No, I got no. This is a new video. You got to refresh. I'm making it right now. That's an old video. I got a TNT cap. I got TNT cap. I got my black. I got a black.
Yeah, I got that on. I got you on there.
Okay, click on the link. It's the
okay, hold on.
It's called StreamYard.com. It's on the side. Yeah, we're gonna get Uncle Said in here. Lake County in the house already. Lake County, Florida in the house. What's up, fam? You clicked on it?
I clicked on live chat.
All right. No, you won't. You should see a link in the chat box. It's the first one posted.
I see somebody posted.
It says StreamYard. I posted again, Uncle Said. It's in and you just click on that link, and that link gonna bring you to another website, and that's the website. Detroit, Michigan in the house. What's up, guys? Atlanta in the house. Uncle Said we got a lot of people waiting on you. Baltimore in the house. Y'all got Uncle Said on the cell phone. He's talking to me. Soon as he can get the link, he'll be in the chat with us. And what we want to do is.
Okay, what you want me to click on? Link with TV code or learn more?
No. You know, you see where people talking? Go to live chat. And then it's a link. I just posted Chicago in the house. JC from Chicago, Miami, Florida in the house, Uncle Said.
I know, man, but I can't.
Wait, Miss Ant. Wait. See, I don't know. You got a Samsung, so it's hard to say. You should see on my the one that we talking right now as we speak. It's a link that I put in the chat, and on that link, you click it on Uncle Said, and then it'll bring you up, and you go right into the room. So, guys, while we're waiting on Uncle Said to get this figured out, if you want to chat with TNT, you want to ask me some questions personally, I mean, about barbecue, anything, just click on this link that I'll be posting in chat. Make sure you're dressed and, make sure you're ready to talk, and it'll bring you into the chat. So if you got any questions for TNT.
Oh, you know how to do that? Oh, I can't get on live. That hit live chat?
Yeah, hit live chat, and then.
Okay.
And when you see it.
Yeah.
So when you see the live chat, it's a link.
Yeah.
And the link says StreamYard.com. That's the link you need to click into the live chat. Okay, I got somebody.
LVLivestream.com.
It'll be up under my name. I'm putting it into the chat. StreamYard. Hello from Texas. What's up, Texas? So my uncle, he got to go to work today. Come in, Uncle Said. Okay. Oh man, Southern Texas in this thing. We got 25 people, y'all, man. Hey, Curtis Matthews, you want to jump in? So if he click, so to me, I think to cook chicken, I want to go a little harder. You know, I want to cook chicken. Huh?
You see me?
No, not yet. You clicked on the broadcast.
I see.
And it should say something about you in the room or something. It should take you to a place where a duck with headsets, and it should say you in the room.
Well, I think that's the name to put in. What name to put in that display name?
Uncle say it. Or put it Unc. Oh, I think Uncle said and figured it out. Oh, we're gonna have Uncle Said here in a few, y'all. I'm getting excited, you know. Hey, baby, good morning, sweetheart. It's cold out here, y'all. It's cold. I got a brisket cooking right now. Unfortunately, I can't bring my laptop out there because it's too cold out there. How about this right here? Uncle Said, I see you.
Okay.
What up?
What I need to do? You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. I see you. Everybody see you.
What's up?
Nothing much, man. Hey, we got Uncle Said in here. We're not worthy. We're not worthy. Hey, Uncle Said.
I can barely hear you.
Oh, you can't?
I barely hear you.
Okay, you probably should X out of your YouTube account. X out your YouTube account because you're getting back.
Both of them pictures supposed to be there?
Yeah, because you're in there too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I got Kevin in here. So I'm bringing Kevin in here. I'm bringing Kevin in here right now too.
Hold up, Tim.
Kevin, how you doing, brother?
What's up, bro? How you doing?
Yeah, I hear you now.
I got Uncle Said in here, man.
Lake County.
Lake County, Florida. Yeah, we got Lake County, Florida here.
Right out of Grover.
Angelo? Kevin and Angela?
Yeah, Angela, my wife.
Yeah. How y'all doing?
All right. I've been watching your videos. Found out y'all from around Leesburg, Wildwood.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm around in Tavares. I live there, but I'm in Leesburg right now.
Okay. Yeah, I'm right out of Stuckey.
Oh, Stuckey, yeah. Yeah.
I used to go out of Stuckey when I used to club.
Like how you cook the barbecue.
Want to ask what?
How y'all be doing your barbecue? I've been watching your videos.
Oh, it's called what kind of barbecue you talking about? Cause we like, cause we do briskets and everything.
All of it, everything.
Hey, where you want to start at? We have start. Where you want to start, G? It's called what kind of, like if I could go old rusty. Yeah, I like to cook my ribs and pork chops on it. But if we go brisket, and we cook it on
beast.
On the beast. And like chicken, we can cook on anything, but because not much chicken, we do the rotisserie on the chicken a lot. It's just, and we simple, like you say, garlic, pepper, and salt.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah, but it's what the salt is with the
coarse ground salt, kosher salt.
Kosher salt, yeah, not regular salt now. We use kosher salt. Yeah, yeah. But like I say that, and if you got some good rub that you done use and it's doing good, just put your rub on, put your salt SPG on lightly, and put your rub on, and you and what you cooking on? Number one, what you cooking on?
Well, he must have fell out the broadcast. That happened a lot with him. He must didn't get good connection. But you
Yeah,
can keep
cause I
talking
see.
because people want to know about the chicken. So you just collaborate with the chicken, Uncle said. Like if they cooking on a Weber or cooking on
Yeah,
any kind of direct grill, it just continues to heat, right?
yeah, yeah. Keep the heat good, and you gonna need it tomorrow because you want to take it off at like 170, the breast 165, 170, the heat degrees like that. So and that'll keep it juicy that breast. Yeah.
Yeah. So look at this. They got it they got it in bottles now, don't they?
Got a what?
They got them in bottles now, don't they? Uncle said the
Oh
barbecue
yeah.
sauce on the street.
Oh yeah. Yeah. They Pine Street. They doing the barbecue sauce now. Yeah. So we trying to get it started and everything. She is trying to get it going and get it on the website and stuff.
Hey, look, man. Look, this stuff Uncle said approved, man. What Uncle said tell y'all about barbecue sauces, it's approved, and Uncle said.
Yeah.
Hey, this the best mustard sauce I ever had in my life. But
It's
just
hey, it ain't it's different from any mustard sauce you tasted. Any different. Yeah.
and
Man,
then
gee, I went off. Oh, there you go. I'm back. There you go. Yeah, I see you with it.
now this right here, you like this, don't you,
Yeah.
Uncle said?
Yeah, I love that kind. I'm on my hot bottle now, and it's about halfway. The other one empty. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm
See
gonna put
how hot that mustard salt is.
it's hot, Uncle said. It's hot.
Yeah, she said I told her y'all will love that hot though.
It's hot
You and
though.
you and Lil T.
It's
Yeah.
hot.
Hey, but T, we gonna have to do it like on a Sunday or something. Cause I'm getting
Okay.
ready to go to work now. And tell everybody I know how to chat. I know how
All
to
right.
chat now, so we'll get back on and
Um,
stuff.
and one day we have to bring Ashanti in on the
Yeah,
chat so she can
yeah. While we working, yeah, yeah. I'll tell her.
yeah, so just tell her that we want to bring her in so she can talk about a barbecue sauce
Hmm.
and show that live cook on that pit. Cause people
Yeah,
don't understand.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Show her how the pit working, we do the pit and everything.
yeah, yeah. All right.
Yeah,
Oh, I love
yeah.
you.
All right, love y'all, man. Love y'all, family,
Okay,
and
then.
we'll holler at you.
We'll holler at you guys. Okay. All right. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
So that is my uncle Sarah there. So you got to log off. You got to log out, Uncle Said.
I don't know how I'm finna. I
You got
see
to
I
click
hear
off.
you.
You got to click
Click
off.
on.
Yeah, click off.
Okay, hold up.
It's something called in broadcast or in. Yeah.
Hey, roll. I done got off. I had to click off and then do it. Now
I'm
I'm trying
cooking
to
a
bring it
brisket.
back up. Okay. YouTube, there you go. Yeah, let me see how they
I got you.
click.
I got y'all. All right, guys. So yeah. So yeah, I'm cooking on electric smoker right now. Actually, I'm doing a brisket. I'm using electric smoker. The video will be probably dropping tonight sometime. I'm doing electric smoke on a brisket. So it's just something that everybody don't got a pellet grill. Everybody don't got a charcoal grill. Some people got electric smokers. So I want to make sure that I try to um, cook on all devices. That's why I buy a lot of my smokers, because I don't want to be left out there. I don't want to be left out there trying to sell grills. I want to cook on stuff that the common person can afford. And also I want to cook on stuff that people can follow my recipe on. All right, so Curtis, shoot with your question, Mr. Mathis. And I'm gonna put a link for the barbecue sauce. I'm gonna put the link in the meat stall over here. Right there, the link I just posted, that's for the meat stall hot barbecue sauce. He'll be one of my guests that I have on here. But if you want to come on and talk and join the broadcast, let me know, and you click on the link here, and we can just talk one-on-one. But yeah, so I'm gonna still go to the chat and ask questions. But yeah, if you got a question, shoot, man. Got a question about old school grill. Okay, shoot, let's talk. So, yep. But, like I said, I put a link where you get the meat stall barbecue sauce in the link, so you can go to that. And we also got places where you can go get you some TNT apparel. I'm not all about selling stuff, but, people always ask me about the TNT hats, the TNT shirts, sweatshirts, that's things of that nature. You get all that. I'm actually going to put that inside of the, I'm going to go ahead and put that inside of the chat now. So that's what I like doing. So, yeah. All right. And the link I'm posting, I'm gonna have to look for them. Look for the link here pretty soon. I don't want to keep talking. I mean, keep looking, because it's hard for me to do two things at one time. But yeah, so let me go back to the chat. Good to see you too. I appreciate it. What's better to use, wood, charcoal, or pellets? To me, it depends on where you at when it comes to your smoking ability. So if you have the choice, if you're a beginner and you want to learn barbecue in the right way, you want to start off with wood, because you learn barbecue on anything but a wood burning smoker. It's like learning math without a calculator. It's like learning math with a calculator, because you're skipping past the fire management skills. You're skipping past the learning about hot spots. You're trying to do a barbecue, and you're not gonna get the whole repertoire that you need to become a pit master or to become a great griller. And you're always gonna search for that barbecue flavor. But if you start off on a wood smoke grill, and whether it be a Weber kettle grill, whether it be Weber Smoky Mountain or a stick burner from Lowe's or Walmart or Kmart or wherever you get it from, when you learn that way, you're learning fire management skills, and that can translate throughout your experience in cooking barbecue. So you will learn, and then that transfer into all the other stuff. So I would say learn first on the wood and the charcoal, and then when you go to pellets and anything like that, it'll come natural. Trying to smoke chicken on a barrel grill, trying to get the right temperature. Okay, so on the barrel grill, are you cooking indirect, Curtis? Are you cooking are you cooking indirect or are you cooking direct? It depends, because if you're cooking direct, you really don't need to have a high temperature. But if you cook it indirect, you need to have some good temperature or that skin will be rubbery. Because that's how people get that rubbery skin, because they're not cooking with a high enough fire. And sometimes you got to get that door and get your shovel and crack that door so that heat can rush in, because sometimes you have a hot fire in your offset chamber, but your stack is too small. So the heat is trying to go through a small stack and it's not working. So what I like doing when I have that problem, I just crack my door open on my offset smoker, if it was a Brickman or a Charbroiler or something like that, and I crack it open about that much with like a handle of a hoe or a piece of wood, and that just create a draft over your food. And you will get the heat that you need to get the chicken crispy, to get the golden brown color, and stay away from that sweet rub on chicken. On chicken, you want to go with like some seasoning salt, some black pepper, and you can mop that chicken with the that mop sauce that I told you about. And I think that'll create a real good flavor. So yeah. Okay. So how do you keep temperature down on the offset smoker, the cold smoked sausages? So first of all, you want to start off with, like, I would say no more than 3 pounds of charcoal off to the side with one lump. You want it always, so basically if your firebox is 1.5 feet, you want to have it closer to the door. You want to have that door, you want to start off low, but you want to add one stick to that firebox, and you want that one stick to burn down. And then the second stick or the second log you put on your firebox, you want to put that over the coals, and then you want to choke it down on the firebox side. Never choke it down on the, I always keep my chimney wide open. Hey man, Wood Barbecue, what up, brother? How you doing? That's my Iowan brother. How you doing? So yeah, that's what I'm doing. But like you said, that's what I do to keep my temperature down so I can cold smoke my sausages. I will get a bed of coals, keep the smoker low. Hey, brother man, well, you want to come in here and talk with us, so you can help me out with these questions? If you want to, you know a lot about barbecue. But yeah, if anybody want to come in and talk or chat with me, ask me questions, just go ahead and click on the link. And when you click on the link, basically you get to go into the room and I'll let you in to talk, and you can ask me questions or whatever you want to do. So that's what I do. So when you're on the offset, I'm going back to Curtis now, to getting that chicken skin and getting that chicken crispy. When you build your fire is going to be hot. But sometimes those stacks is not a representation of good airflow. So the heat cannot transfer over the meat, and it gets stuck in the chamber. And that's how you get that black chicken skin, or it burns, because the air is not leaving fast enough. So what I like doing is getting like a hoe handle or a shovel handle, and just putting over and cranking that lid open on the where the meat chamber at. So you're on the offset. So you got the offset, you got the meat chamber. Crack that lid on that meat chamber, and that'll help that smoke go over the meat and out of your smoker. And you're getting that you get more of a force convection. You get more of a heating convection because it's breathing. Because what happens is when these people make these smoker, they're making them for like you to cook pork butts and briskets, and they're not really thinking about chicken too much. So chicken, you got to have more of convection heat. It can't sit in the chamber. It has to go through and leave. So I would get like something and crank that door open on the part that you had a smoker. Yep. So that's why I would do it. The link is right down. So yep. So you just click on the StreamYard and click on that link, and then it'll bring you into the green room or whatever you want to call it, and then I invite you into the chat, and we can chat more often. We can really chat. All right. So East St. Louis in the house. Good morning to you, sir. Steve, how you doing, brother? Good morning to you. I love you too, Mr. Williams. Curtis, I hope that you got what I was trying to say. Those sausages, I hope everybody pick up what I'm laying down with the sausages, how to keep your temperature low. You want to start with a bed of small coals, but you want to kind of smother them out, so to speak, and you still can have clean burning temperatures, but just a lower temperature, But you want to cut it off at the back of the smoke, but you always want to make sure your smoke can leave. Okay, working on your new offset. Oh man, that's outstanding. How cold it is where you at, brother? I know you up here in Iowa. How cold it is? Working on a new office. Okay, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said new offset. Oh my goodness, new office. Yeah. Thank you, brother. Okay, that's good. But yeah, Memphis, Tennessee in the house. So yeah, so right now, like I said, I'm doing a brisket cook. I'm using an electric smoker, and I did a trick to get a smoke ring. So what I did, and you're gonna see the video, I used some of this Tender Quick. First time disclosure. This was the first time. It's 12 degrees. Oh my goodness. The first time I ever used Tender Quick on my not ribs, but on my brisket. Never used it before. I'm using it because I'm using an electric smoker, and we're gonna see if this gonna help out with a smoke ring. So what this does, guys, this is a Keurig agency, and this. What's up, dog father in the house? Elton, how you doing, brother? So on this video, I'm gonna try to do a fake smoke ring. Okay, Curtis, what's up, man? I'll bring you in, bro. How you doing? For to bring you in.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Good morning, sir. How you doing?
Good, man. Y'all boys be turning out some crazy barbecue, man.
Hey, man, that's what we doing. That's what we do. That's what we do, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, I got my boy Dog Father in the house, Curtis, man. I'm telling you subscribe to his channel?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, now that dude be, woo, man, I'm telling you, bro. Man, legend. Dog Father and Man Wood Barbecue, man, we got some good people here.
Yes, sir.
So what's up, Curtis? So tell me, man, hit me with some questions, man.
You helped me a whole lot with the trying to get the heat through there, because I was having that problem with the black chicken and the skin being kind of rubbery. The thing is, I want to ask about the rib. about rap. I noticed. I don't. I hadn't seen y'all rap for ribs.
Well, when we do wrap ribs, sometimes I wrap ribs to conserve them, so I'm
Right.
selling. So I have to wrap them to kind of keep them where they don't overcook inside my proofer or
Gotcha.
dry out. So they sit inside the moisture, and I put the proofer. So sometimes I wrap them because of that. And also when I'm cooking outside, I use a cooler like a Cambro, because if I get a Cambro, I need the Cambro to go hold 70, 80 slabs of ribs.
Right.
But I could put 55 slabs of ribs in one cooler and close the door, and it just do what it do. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But yeah. So K-Bo, how you doing, brother? But yeah,
What's up, G?
not much. So wrapping my ribs, I prefer, to me, if I'm cooking for me, bro, okay? If I do wrap them, an hour at the most.
Wow. Okay.
Cause to me, it's nothing worse than some overcooked ribs. And it's nothing worse than some tough ribs.
Yes, sir.
So when you wrap them, you know, I'm just a butter guy. Cause sometimes I like, if I'm gonna do a sauce, it got to be the best sauce. That's why I represent these guys right here. Cause these are the best. This is the mustard sauce I like on pork, and I put this on everything.
Yeah.
I put this on everything. But yeah. But yeah, so that's what I would do, man. And then the ribs are forgiving. It just depends on what kind of ribs are you cooking. Like if you're cooking spares, you got to trim them. I call them Compton style.
Okay.
And I got that from my boy Rick. See, I learned so much on YouTube too. Cause I remember cooking my spares. I used to hate that my ribs would be tender. My rib tips will be a little more, you know, either they'll be like a little tougher or they won't be. It was so hard to get the rib tips right.
Right.
So what I do is I go with that Compton cut and I kind of round it off. So I don't have that part of the rib tip that I worry about anymore. I just go ahead and X that out of there.
Yeah.
So to me, when you cut that breastplate off and round your ribs off, you get a longer slice of rib and you get a little bit of tip meat, but you also get a consistent cook.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And I think with ribs, you treat ribs like you got to kind of hit that 275, but it depends if you cook it direct. If you cook it direct, you can stay 225, 235 with ribs because you're cooking direct. But if you got an offset smoker or you cooking, you got to hit that 275 once in a while to start rendering that fat the ribs got into the upper part, especially when you're cooking those spares, because you need that to render to really have a nice bite rib, to have good texture and all that. Yeah, so that's just me with ribs.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, man. No problem, man. You know, you asked me a couple years ago, I would have definitely said something totally different. Hey, man, Dog Father, I'm going to bring him on. I didn't X somebody out, did I? No.
Hey, yo.
How you doing, Mr. Matthews?
What's up, man? How you doing today, brother?
Man, it's so cold out there, bro. I'm doing a hack on some smoke ring. I'm trying to see, can I get a smoke ring on an electric smoker by using this Tender Quick? But it's a disclaimer. I never used this stuff before. So don't be y'all Texas guys. You hear that, Kimbo? Kimbo, you hear this? Y'all Texas guys, don't be accusing me, because this is just a one-time thing.
I hear you. No, man, that stuff, it actually will give you a pretty good solid smoke ring. It should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm using an electric smoker, so I'm kind of like, But
Oh, it'll
yeah,
still work out for you. What kind of wood chips you using?
well, I'm using wood chips. I'm using mesquite
Okay,
and mesquite and pecan.
nice,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. So and this is a pretty good electric smoker.
Okay,
It's one of those cook shacks.
okay.
So it's pretty insulated, it's thick. I'm looking excited to see how this brisket turned out. Cause if I can teach somebody how to get that smoke ring, because a lot of people when they use the electric smokers and they don't get that smoke ring, they feel like they ain't cooking barbecue.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah,
So,
most definitely.
one of the things I do, yeah, you can use Tender Quick, as well as what is that, the pink cure, like you put in sausage, stuff like
Yeah,
that, which
create
pretty much same
powder.
thing. Yeah. So you can use that. One of the things that I tell people a lot when they're smoking brisket or beef ribs or whatever is also using celery seed. Celery seed works really well as well. So if you don't have access to, Tender Quick or Pink Cure or whatever, maybe you have some celery seed at your local grocery store or whatever. Pick some of that up and put that in your rub too. That works out really well.
Okay, then, man, I like that celery seed. So I'm gonna mention that on the video. You
Yeah,
know,
man. Yeah.
it, if people, because you know, it it's hard to get a smoke ring on the electric smoker because we don't have that combustion that the stick burners got and that
Right.
Weber Smoky Mountain. Hey, K-Bo, are you subscribed to the Dog Father Barbecue?
Man, I was just, you know what, and I'm just soaking everything in. So this your show, so I'm soaking everything in. So,
Okay.
I want to ask the Dog Father, man, what are you smoking on, or do he have a Weber? What are you smoking on, sir? Dog
All
Father.
right. Wait. Well, first off, bro, hey, Kabo, nice to meet you, brother.
Nice to meet you, sir.
I don't think I had the privilege of speaking to you before. So great meeting you and hanging out with you guys this morning. Kabo, man, I cook on a lot of different things, man. I got a lot of different grills.
Yeah.
So right now I got an offset that's a Louisiana Grills. It's a vertical offset cabinet. So I had that. I got their Santa Maria grill that I'm probably gonna be firing up tomorrow.
Okay.
I think tomorrow we're
Santa
gonna do.
Maria, yeah.
We're gonna be going live tomorrow, guys. So just in case, if you're not subscribed to me, make sure you subscribe. Get that notification bell turned on. We will be going live throughout the day tomorrow. Me and my boy Federico and Gene, we're gonna fire up. We got some ribs. We're gonna actually do. We're gonna do smoked fried ribs. So we're gonna do, smoke the ribs. We're gonna fry them in beef tallow. So we're gonna do that. I've got some brisket we're gonna put on probably tonight and cook overnight. We're gonna do some smoked mac and cheese, loaded, mashed or loaded baked potato salad. We're gonna be doing a bunch of different things, man. So we're just gonna kind of pop on throughout the day tomorrow, hang out with everybody, and just have a great time. But also with that, man, you asked about the cookers. I do cook on some pellet smokers. I do have some affiliation with some companies, so I do have I have a Louisiana Grills Black Label 1200. I've got the Silverback from Grilla Grills. I'm not affiliated with Yoder, but I've been rocking the Yoder 640 for years. So yeah, I cook on that. Cook on the Pit Barrel cooker, cook on the Weber kettle. I cook on a lot of different cookers, man. So, it's just about having fun and getting out there and playing around with whatever you have access to. Because I feel like it doesn't matter what you cook on, man. It's how you cook it.
Okay, so and I don't mean to stumble on your show, TNT. I don't mean,
That's
I don't
okay.
mean to.
No, don't worry about that. I'm gonna put Dog Father link in the chat.
Hey,
Okay.
man, I appreciate that.
Okay, like we was talking last night, TNT, and I want to go back to the pellet smoker. How do you feel about the smoke taste? With the quality of the meat and the texture of the smoke that come out of the pellet grill.
Man, I really, the thing for me, I'm definitely not a barbecue snob. There's a lot of them out there. They feel like if you're not cooking on offset, it's not barbecue, and I don't happen to subscribe to that camp. I just want people to get out there and cook and have a good time. Now, when you start talking about pellet smokers and, is it going to taste the same? Is it going to take, as a offset? As, brother TNT there said earlier, you don't get the same levels of combustion on a pellet smoker as you do, say, burning splits in an offset. So we do know that. I'm not going to tell you you're going to get the exact same flavor, but you will get a really good solid flavor. You can help it out by, adding a smoke tube, which I do often. I'll get a smoke tube, fill it with pellets, burn it, let it go for 6-8 hours, however long I'm doing the smoking process of the cook. And that really does help it out along the way. Cabo, I do have a video on my channel where I did a smoked brisket on a Yoder with a smoked pellet tube. And I think you can kind of take a look at that and see how it came out. Now, the smoke ring wasn't as defined on that particular brisket as I have with other cooks, but the tenderness and the flavor and everything was spot on. Yeah, man, absolutely. In that particular cook, I didn't actually use my celery seed and stuff like I normally do.
Yeah.
Because it was really, it's funny, when you talk about YouTube and how things happen to, hit and what hits, what doesn't hit, that type of thing. And what's funny is, I had told this story before, but that particular brisket I made, right, was in the beginning of the whole pandemic thing and everything started shutting down. You couldn't find ground beef and all that stuff at the stores, and we had went to Costco and I bought this little flimsy looking little brisket and I figured, I'm going to take it home and grind it up, make some hamburgers with it. And last minute we decided not to, and we smoked it. And then that video took off. I don't know really know why, but it just really took off. And it's just funny because I wasn't really getting into that brisket like I normally would really get into a cook. You know what I mean? And so made that brisket or whatever, and it turned out great, but it didn't have the, the good solid smoke ring. I've got some other videos on there where you can really see when we did the #brisket challenge. You probably remember that one. We did that on Ryan's offset, from Backline Smokers. We did that, and it was an 8-hour brisket. We cooked it hot and fast. We hit temperatures of 350, 360, and we did this brisket in 8 hours, man. And if you see that video, if you go to my channel and click videos at the top, and there's a search little window up there, put up their #brisket challenge, and that video will pop up. And if you look at that, look at the smoke ring I got on that bad boy, And so, yeah. It's just one of those things, man. So, but no, you can get a good solid flavor out of the pellet smoker.
Yeah, and he has direct tech. It's like
the RT 700. Yeah.
And he also has the Santa Maria style.
Yeah.
So,
nice. Yeah. Santa Maria cooking is a lot of fun.
Maria, the Santa Maria. Oh man, it's awesome. I like it. It's a fun cook. I put it like that.
It is. Ribs are really good on the Santa Maria too. If you've got the patience to work with your ribs, man, and you got to flip them and do a little bit more work with them or whatever than you do say in an offset or whatever. But man, the flavor is really good.
Yes, it is. So, guys, we got royalty here. We need some questions for Mr. Dog Father. We need some questions, man. Come on, guys. Come on. Because this is what barbecue is. It's a lot of opinions, but it also it's some real things that you got to say you cannot do. So we talk about what to do. What is something else you think that you cannot make this mistake? What would be the number one mistake that, whether you're a rookie, whether you are a true pit master, what do you think the number one mistake is of bad barbecue? The stuff that you got to throw in the garbage.
Undercooking your meat.
Under what?
Undercooking your meat.
Okay.
Especially, when you're dealing with fowl, chicken, turkey, whatever. You absolutely don't want to undercook. Sometimes people will cook too fast, too hot, and, cook the outside and not cook the inside. So, patience is really, I think patience is really the biggest key, when it comes to making barbecue. I hear from a lot of people that don't barbecue and they make comments, about how expensive barbecue is. And man, I'm not sitting around waiting, for however long for barbecue. And it's like, dude, that's the art of barbecue. If everybody could do it, they would. You know what I mean? So, and anybody can do it. Don't get me wrong, but you just have to have the patience to be able to do it and apply, just the basic principles, because barbecue, the key to barbecue is patience, but it's fire management. You can make up whatever type of flavor profile you want to. I can't tell you it's wrong. If that's the flavor that you like or whatever for it, I can't tell you it's wrong. But you have to be able to maintain that fire for a duration of time to be able to get that barbecue done.
My guy from Texas, he told me that last night. He was like, T, I burn my charcoal down. I make my own charcoal, and
Absolutely.
I shovel that charcoal inside of my Weber Smoky Mountain. I'm like, what? So there you go. There go a question right there for you. I was pulling the screen by Brian.
Okay. So Brian says, what makes a brisket flat be tough and dried out at the point? And the point is like perfect, and the temperatures are 203, 205. So here's the thing, man. And everybody knows this, there's two different muscles in the brisket, the point and the flat. The point absolutely has more fat throughout the meat, which is going to give you that, that really good tenderness or whatever that you're speaking of, where you don't have as much of that throughout the flat. The flat is a little bit more lean, a lot more lean than a point is. And so this again goes back to the patience part, because what happens is you have to give that flat enough time for the connective tissues to break down to make it tender. So one of the things that I tell people, on my channel, and through my videos is stop worrying about an internal temperature. I don't care about an internal temperature, because, and why do I say that? And I say that because brisket is a different beast. Brisket, you can buy a case of brisket. For those of you that don't know, a case of brisket is 5 briskets. You can buy a case of briskets, and have 5 briskets, and 5 different briskets react 5 different ways on the same pit, cooking at the same temperature.
Hey, briskets are like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get.
Absolutely. You can't treat every brisket the same. And I think that's another mistake that people make, is they think that, oh, well, I was watching so-and-so and they said, cook my brisket until it gets to 202. And this one said, well, if you cook it to 206, it's not the same. Now, I can tell you this, through all my years of cooking briskets, and I've got a lot of years into this, I've had brisket come off as low as 198 degrees, and I've had brisket that took me all the way to 216 degrees. Yeah. So that's why I tell people on my channel, look, if you absolutely need to reference a temperature, reference your temperature in the middle of the cook to that 160, between 160, 170-ish range, because at that point, that's a good solid point to be able to go ahead and wrap your brisket if that's what you choose to do. Wrap the brisket at that point. And then what I may do, if I'm considering temperatures after that, I'll target 200 degrees. Now, why do I target 200 degrees? I'll get to 200 degrees because that is when I'm going to start checking for tenderness to find out when I'm complete. So if I get to 200 degrees, I'm wrapped in butcher paper. And again, that's a whole nother subject we can get into. But, I use butcher paper for beef. But if I'm wrapped in butcher paper and I get to 200 degrees, I then start checking every probably 30 minutes or so, or gauge it by the way that resistance feels when I slide that probe into the brisket. So if it feels a little bit more tougher, maybe I might give it an hour or 45 minutes or what have you. But again, it's important. Do not just check your tenderness in the flat and just the point. You want to check both of them. Your point is going to be soft and tender way before your flat will be. But you want to get to where you feel that same tenderness, that same softness in your flat that you feel in the point. And when you feel that, that's when it's time to pull it off, not before.
And that's that is well spoken, Mr. Matthews.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, the reason why I say Mr. Matthews all the time, because I'm Mr. Matthews too.
Hey, there you go. There you
With
go.
one T.
Yeah. The Matthews boys, boy.
Yeah. So now when you mentioned butcher's paper, okay?
Okay.
So last night we had this conversation for like 5 hours.
I don't know
Boy.
how we up this early, man.
We love barbecue, bro.
Yeah, that's what it
Absolutely.
is, man.
Absolutely.
So I was saying that I was a groupie. I bit y'all. I bit y'all fruit in Texas. I basically seen everybody with the butcher's paper, and I kept saying to myself, I like the foil brisket better, but the Texas guys are using butcher paper.
Yeah.
I like the foil better, but the Texas guys, but else using butcher paper. T-Roy Cooks using butcher paper. Smoking Joe James using butcher paper. I got to use, but I like foil. So I just had to come to the realization that I was a groupie. and sometimes when you're a groupie, you got to go back to the authentic stuff that you fell in love with. So I went back to the foil. You know, like Abel was talking, I went back to the love of my life. I had to put the groupie love down. You know, I got like, I'm on for a second.
He gonna show you.
Oh yeah. You got to come with the examples, huh?
Yeah.
So I got this.
Yeah.
So, you know, I got bit by the butcher's paper groupie pretty bad. So with that being said, I use butcher's paper time to time. I may use butcher's paper for this brisket I'm cooking.
Yeah.
Because it's a prime brisket. I'm going to wrap it and put it back in the electric smoker. But the point I'm trying to say is, can you give me some
the reasoning as to why?
butcher's paper with foil?
All right, so let me address that. And first, James Walker in the chat I see says butcher paper is all hype, and I'm gonna respectfully disagree with you 100%. The reason I say that is because it's all a preference thing, man. If you like using foil, use foil. If you like using paper, use paper. For me, I'll tell you why I do the difference. I absolutely use foil when I do pork. If I'm making ribs, if I'm making pork shoulder, I'll absolutely use foil. Why? Foil steams your meat. Okay, foil will absolutely steam your meat. I don't want steamed bark on my brisket. That's not how I roll. I'm not telling you it's wrong. I'm not telling you that it's bad. If that's your preference, then you stick with that and hey, have fun with it, and do what you do. But for me, for my palate, for my preference, I like a more firm bark. Butcher paper actually will allow those vapors to permeate through so that you don't get that meat steaming in your in that paper as it does in foil. So you're able to retain the crispiness, the dryness of the bark, so to speak. So you can kind of fake it with foil. I've done that before where I'll actually wrap a brisket at that same range we spoke of earlier, 160, 170, around in there. And what I'll do is I'll wrap it in foil, put it back on the pit, get that internal temperature. And this is again a point as to when I know when I'm paying attention to internal temperatures. But I'll get that pit temperature or get that brisket temperature up to 190, 195, and then take it out of the foil and put it back on the pit because I want that bark to dry out more. I don't like a soft bark. Competition style and backyard style, two completely different animals. And so that's why it's a difference. So I'm not going to tell you it's all hype, using this or using that. It's personal preference, so whatever you like, you go with. You don't have, sure, try it in paper if you've never done it before. And if you like it, great. If you don't, go back to what you like. But that is the difference. Now, when I will use foil with beef, when to say I know I'm going to do pulled beef. If I'm doing, chuck roast, and I know I'm going to make pulled beef, or if I'm using beef cheeks and I want to make barbacoa, things of that nature, things that I don't really care about that external crispier bark, I'll use foil. But otherwise, if I want that bark, if the bark is the thing that I'm really going for, I'm going to use butcher paper, because it allows me, let's talk about why we wrap it in the first place. You wrap it because you're trying to speed through the thermal stall. That's what it is. And for people out there that don't know thermal stall, I'm sure most people do, but for people that don't, you have that point at where that brisket is trying to push out the last of its moisture. And what it's doing is basically, for lack of a better way to put it, it's sweating. When you get hot, you sweat, your fluids come out to the surface to try and help cool you. That's what this brisket is doing. It's pushing out the last of its juices, and it's trying to cool. And it's stalled because you're fighting temperature. So what do? You wrap it up in the foil, you wrap it up in the paper so that it can push through that stall and get your cook finished. And so that's why you're doing it in the first place. You know what I'm saying? But you don't have to. If you have the time, the extra 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever it might be, try cooking a brisket without wrapping at all.
Oh.
And that comes out absolutely phenomenal. There's tons of restaurants here that don't wrap.
So Ellen, can I ask you a question now? So this is what I found with my butcher's paper thing, okay? Mm-hmm. So I wrap the briskets in butcher paper, but my au jus will be so saturated in the butcher's paper. So the butcher's paper then soaked up all that juices and stuff, and I love that. But I feel like I'm getting the bark I want, but that moisture is like, oh man, I miss that moisture, because I get way more moisture using foil and letting that and letting it vent open. And like you said, sometimes I let it vent for hours and then cover it back up and let it rest. And it kind of re-soaks in that juice. And then I can use that jus and all that kind of stuff. But when I go to butcher's paper, the paper be all soaked and stuff. And the only thing I think that butcher paper, to me, it rules in this aspect. If I'm cooking in my trailer and I wrap that butcher's paper up on the brisket and put it in my proofer and cut my proofer at 170 degrees, you can keep those briskets in there for a day.
Yeah, absolutely.
For a day. I mean, you can keep seriously. But if you put them in that foil, you're going to have pulled beef within around 3 o'clock. You're going to have pulled beef. You're going to be pulling the briskets and making beef nachos or beef tacos. So you're right. You got some advantages and disadvantages. So the 3-in-1, I just Googled what that smoker was. Basically, it's a offset smoker and also a propane smoker, I think.
I just had a conversation with a friend of mine that's actually looking for a cooker, and she had mentioned, one of those. And I've never cooked on one. I'm not saying it's bad or whatever. I'm saying whatever cooker that you like, that you can manage, that you can handle, go for it. Go for it. Just because we cook on offsets, offsets cooking not for everybody. Pellet cooking is not for everybody. So you have to find your lane. You have to find what you're comfortable with, and don't do something just because somebody on YouTube or some cooking show said, oh, this is the best. The best is what you have that you can manage, that you can afford, that you want to cook on. If you learn how to cook on that, you can, if you decide to move on to something that's more quote unquote upper tier or whatever, it just makes it that much easier. But if you think about it, you look at some of these cooking shows, the barbecue challenge type shows or whatever, they stress these guys out by making them cook on various different, cookers in methods that they're not normally used to doing. But because if you've got that, experience in managing a fire in a really rinky-dink little whatever that's got holes in it, and you got to do whatever you've got to do to manage that temperature, cooking on something that's a premium is going to be a breeze.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, sir. I'll tell you what.
I got a question for the guy Okay, go ahead. No, sorry.
No, go ahead,
Go ahead,
bro.
TNT.
No. You go ahead.
Okay. I see you got a hyena on here today, so I gotta soak it in, brother. You got a soldier on here today. With
I'm
both of
just a
y'all,
dude that
man.
cooks,
So
man. I'm just a
I'm
dude
just a
that cooks.
novice, man. I hear you, man. But
Hey, we be heavy
man,
hitters in the
I
morning.
respect, man. I like both y'all facts. So let me ask you this. My question is, where do you tend to keep your temperatures at? Far as cooking wise, where do you range for your?
Okay. So for me, and again, this is it's a personal preference deal, but for me, my sweet spot is 275. I like cooking at 275 because I don't want to take a brisket
Yep.
that's gonna, I don't want to cook a brisket for the next 15, 16. You hear people say, oh man, I'll cook this brisket for 18 hours. I'm like, more power to you, buddy. Not me. Like I said, I can get a. So here's the thing, and hopefully you guys, hopefully you guys can follow me on this. You have to take your cooks and put them in stages, and this is how you can figure out what works for you for temperatures. Okay, make your cooks in stages. So when you first put the brisket, and we're talking brisket because brisket is considered to be the pinnacle of barbecue or whatever. So when you cook your brisket, you put it on the pit at first. You're doing what? You're trying to get the smoke flavor into your meat. Okay, you're trying to get the bark to set. You're trying to get the smoke flavor into it or whatever. That's going to be the first part of your cook. Okay, the next part of your cook is going to be what? You're tenderizing your meat. You're now at that point that you've got the flavor in the meat that you want. So now you're wanting to make it's already edible. Okay. Brisket beef, you can eat at 30 degrees.
Yeah.
125, 130 degrees, but is it going to be good? It's going to be excellent for a ribeye steak. It ain't going to be excellent for a brisket, but you could eat it. You know what I'm saying? So, and this is why I say when people are like, oh, the internal temperatures, this is why I'm telling you, I don't care about the internal temperature because you can eat it already. Right. So you're not worried about that. So you're now tenderizing after you've got the flavor and stuff in it. You got the smoke in it. You're at that point where now you're tenderizing the meat. And that's where you're going to be in those ranges where you wrap it to break it down. Or if you're not wrapping it, it's gotten past that thermal stall point. Then now you have the connective tissues in the brisket breaking down that makes that meat tender. Okay. So now you've smoked the meat. Now you've tenderized the meat, and now you're at the point, the final stage is resting the meat.
Yes.
Now, why is that important to understand it in those stages? Because now you can actually figure out what works for you temperature wise. So for me, when I put my brisket on, I like cooking at 275 because I know that I can hit the thermal stall somewhere around the 6 hour mark. 6 hour to 7 hour mark, I can hit the thermal stall. Once I get to that point, and I've been rolling at 275, I can now wrap that brisket. Once I wrap the brisket, I can kick that temperature up. This is how restaurants do it, in case y'all don't know this. When they, at least I'm not going to say all restaurants. I'm going to say that a lot of the restaurants that I know around here, that I know pitmasters personally, I know a lot of them do it this way. So they'll get to, the thermal stall or whatever, and they wrap the briskets in their butcher paper to kick the pit temp up. Why? Because you're trying to tenderize it at that point. You've already got the flavor in it. You're already protecting it because it's already wrapped. So kick the pit temperature up. Otherwise, what are you doing? Basically, you're maintaining at 250 or whatever your cooking temperature is, and you're burning more wood. You're spending more money on fuel. You're spending more money on time rather than kick that pit temperature up, get the stuff done. Because as you mentioned earlier, TNT, when you put it in that proofer, which is what they do, they pull these briskets off. They have them on a speed rack wrapped in their paper, butcher paper. They got them on their steel trays, got them in the speed rack, and they're cooling because we're at that resting stage now, right? So we pulled it off the pit. We hit the tenders we want. We pulled it off the pit. We got it on the rack. We're resting it. We're getting that internal temperature down on that brisket. This is another part where you actually do pay attention to your internal temperatures too, is when you're bringing it down. Because again, guys, in case you don't know, you always want to keep that brisket below 40 degrees or above 140 degrees. Okay. So that's the danger zone. So when you pull it out, you're resting it down. And what I typically do will rest that meat down until it gets down to about 150 degrees. Once I hit 150, it goes in my proofer. Okay. So, and that's important, you know, because you hear that. And I'm going to tell you, for me, I'm not going to say it's crap, but you hear people say stuff like, oh, you pull the brisket off the pit and you immediately wrap it in towels and put it in a cooler. And I'm telling you now, if you like brisket that is completely fall apart, mush, shred, you throwing it on my man here, nachos, or putting it in macaroni and cheese or whatever it might be, then do that. If you're trying to make slices and you want, you know, a good experience with brisket, you don't do that, because it will actually keep that temperature at that 200 or whatever that you pulled it off at, and it's going to keep cooking that meat. So you pull it off and you let it rest down. Anyway, I got a little sidetracked there. You know, we start talking brisket and stuff, I can talk all day. But anyway, what I was getting at with the pit temperatures is you understand your different stages of your cook, so you can adjust and play around with what temperatures work best for you. If you're a really slow and low person, you want to go 225, there's nothing wrong with that. Do it. You know, it might take you a little longer to get to the thermal stall. And if you got the time, there's no problem with that. Do it. You know, but if you want to be a little faster on your cook it a little hotter. Go 250, go 275. Just play around with it and see what works for you. I've done that over years and years of ruining briskets, ruining ribs, throwing them away, you know, doing all of this, whatever, to figure out what works for me. 275 is a good sweet spot for me, so that's what I cook to.
Hey, guys, y'all like what y'all hearing? I'm posting his YouTube channel, The Dog Fathers. And go over there and subscribe to his channel if you like what you're hearing. I know y'all liking it because I'm loving it.
We're barbecue nerds. You know, we can talk this stuff all day. You know, I can sit down and watch people. One of the competition cookers down here that I know, a really cool dude. I can sit and watch his videos of trimming brisket all day. You know, and other people get bored with it, and I'm just sitting there just fascinated, just watching. You know, so. We're barbecue nerds, man, so we can do this all day.
I actually changed my whole trimming style of brisket now. Like, dude, kid you not, I got over 120 pounds of brisket trim in my deep freezer right now.
Absolutely.
Because when I tried my first trimming brisket, I was getting mad at you, Ellen. When I see you trimming that brisket, you, Joe, and James, I say, how they hacking this brisket like that? All these guys. And it was just like this pink salt. I said, I'm tired of watching them do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to trim my brisket like they trimming it. So I basically, and who really convinced me, like just took me over the top, I don't even think he noticed, but it's a gentleman that just got a new YouTube channel here about a year ago. What's the guy name? He got great editing skills. Lord, he got an offset smoker, and he got something called a Chub box. He's from Texas.
Oh yeah, you talking about Bradley?
Yeah,
Chub Barbecue.
Chub Barbecue, yeah.
Yeah. Bradley's a cool dude. You know, when people talk about it, they ask me like, "Where's my favorite place to go here in Austin?" Leroy and Lewis is where he cooks at. Leroy and Lewis is one of my favorite spots, dude. Yeah, he's a good dude.
So when I seen him trim that brisket that time, that kind of convinced me. So I tried it, and then when I tried to trim it like that, it was like my slices stay together.
Yep.
I don't have no problem with slicing. I don't have no problem with this end curling up, burning, end curling up like here.
Absolutely.
It's like, you know, and I'm putting out, you know, I used to have to
better product.
Do this, do that, and then save this for nachos and save that. Now it's just
the whole brisket is edible like that.
Yes, and now I can make my beef sausages and just be, use that trim and make my brisket burgers, things of that nature. So I'm gonna answer this question about the electric smoker, okay? So while you're flat drying out an electric smoker is, in my opinion, I think that he is probably got the heat source from the bottom. Will you use a pellet grill, electric grill, or any grill where your heat source is from the bottom? You have to cook your meat fat side down, because that fat will protect the meat. And then once you build your bark on those electric smokers, a lot of electric smokers hold in a lot of steam because they're insulated. You find a lot of electric smokers, they're super insulated. So you have to basically understand that when you start steaming, from the time you start smoking, you may have to take your water pan out of your electric smoker. And I would wrap it. And what I would do is like Ellen said, I would feel for the tenderness, and I would just cook it to it. But I'm getting ahead of myself because the key thing is you pay for what you get. If you can't get a good prime brisket, get a good choice brisket. But you can't get a select brisket. I'm sorry, I done cooked a many select briskets, but it's a reason why it's a select, and it's a reason why it's prime. Hey, it matters. Amen, Elton? The grades matter. So
I always tell people it depends on what you're going to use the brisket for. If you're just making that brisket because you just want to, and you're just going to make chopped beef sandwiches, or you're just going to make sliced brisket sandwiches, or what have you, I'll tell people go with select. Because of the fact that, why spend the more money on it when you're just covering it up with bread and sauce anyway?
Okay.
But if you're trying to make slices or whatever, because you're trying to, you really trying to put your foot in this brisket and make the best possible product you can for whoever this particular audience might be that you're making it for, then go with a prime or a choice.
I mean, but the price difference ain't much.
And sometimes it's really not. But I think that seeing this, it's kind of a gray area there, because I'm fortunate, dude, I've been able to go to Texas A&M and go, hang out with these guys and do the brisket camps and, whatever. It's a gray area because of when you start talking about choice and you start talking about prime, there's such a crossover. So you can actually buy choice that may actually be a lower prime, where you may buy a prime that may be a lower choice. And people don't understand that sometimes. And the best way I can explain it is this way. The cow gets graded off of one single cut. So when they get this cow up, they cut it, right across the ribeye, when they split it open, you can see that beautiful tomahawk just looking at you, So they make this slice, they do their measurements, they do all of this stuff, and then they say, okay, this cow is going to be prime. They get to the next one, they make their slice, they do their measurements. Oh, this one's going to be a choice. Oh, this one's going to be a select. So when all the cuts are made and it comes to your store and it shows up at your grocery market, and you're looking at it at the meat market, and you say, well, this steak is marked prime, but this one's marked as choice, but this one has more fat in it than this one. It's because they do that one cut and they label everything that comes off that cow is going to be either choice or prime or what have you. So there's some gray area there. You can absolutely look at something and see, I don't care if this says prime, but I'm seeing more fat in this choice. I'm going to go with this choice. Does that make sense?
Knowledge.
So don't get stuck on prime, choice. Thanks, man. Don't get stuck on prime, choice, what have you. You kind of roll with the punches and don't ignore what your eyes are telling you. So that's how I kind of approach it.
That's what's up, man. Hey, I hear something, Elton.
Yeah, man.
I never knew that. I knew that it was 7 different selections of meat, and all that kind of stuff, but I never knew that one cut decide on that whole animal.
Yep.
See,
Yeah.
that's a real. That's why.
Okay,
Go ahead.
okay. Let me ask y'all. Well, this question is to both of y'all. Wagyu. Have you ever smoked Wagyu?
I have. I don't
To
care
both.
for it.
To both.
Okay, I had some beef ribs. I paid a lot of money for, and I was actually in a place in Colorado. I was up there visiting my homeboy No Hippie. Was in the store. I was on my way home. I stopped by the store because I seen him at the store, and I was like, loud, like, dude, don't buy that, man. That's just a waste of us all. I'm like, dude, I'm from the Body Snake River Farm beef ribs. So I think it was Snake River Farm. It was one on, but I went and bought whatever. I paid like $130 some for them. It was
Mm-hmm.
the two big pack of them, and I took them home and I smoked them, and it was actually not enjoyable. It was to me. It's too. It was too. I wouldn't say rich. It wasn't beefy enough. It was like eating like. It was like eating. To me, it was like eating oxtails. No, seriously, it was like eating oxtails. You know how you eat oxtails? You get that different beef cheeks. It was like eating beef cheeks, kind of. It was like eating oxtails. You get that different.
It's just so much fat in it, man.
Yes, you get that different. Yeah. You get that different taste, and you may try that. To me, I had best luck with a nice USD. It's called Black Angus Choice Brisket.
Yep.
And
I prefer Choice. Yep.
And once I get those Black Angus, now it got to be Black Angus. It can't be Omaha. It can't be. It got to be that Black Angus Choice Brisket. And you look at that, you be like, this got to be prime. This got to be prime. But it's not. So that's what I experienced. Now it makes sense to me because what Elton said, they probably cut the ribeye like, oh, this thing ain't marbled. Cut it open. Look at this brisket, so.
Yeah.
But one thing I hate more than anything, and maybe Elton and all y'all can agree with this, what should you do? Now, my wife said I'm crazy for doing this, but I did this. I got a case of briskets here 2 weeks ago, I think. Cut the package open, and out of the brisket, every brisket had a slice down the middle, and it wasn't like it was that deep. It was about almost an inch deep.
Yeah.
I took every last one on back. I'm petty when it comes to barbecue, man. I'm petty. I'm petty. Hey, give me a case of brisket. Hey, I'm serious. I'm petty. I went to Sam's Club like goofy kind of like. Hey, I came there with the box, and I'm like, hey, and of course I do so much business there. They were like, okay, T. And gave me a pack, gave me another case of brisket. Right. I tell you, it was only one slice like that. I wasn't tripping. But dude, all 5 briskets had a cut down the middle. Do you get that a lot, Elton? Do you get that a lot, bro?
You get it from, here and here. But understand, and I think you already know this, but it isn't your retailer that's doing it. This is where it's coming into them, that way. But this goes back to what you spoke of. But before I do that, I saw in the chat, I think I lost the name now, but I think it's D. Charles that was asking about the channel. What channel were we talking about? We were talking about Chud's Barbecue. That's CHUDD''S. I think it's 2 D's. Chud's Barbecue. Bradley Robinson from right here, homeboy in Austin, Texas, from Leroy and Lewis, has a fantastic channel. Does a lot of great different things, from cooking to actually building cookers and all kinds of stuff. So absolutely check Chud out. But no, this kind of goes back to what you were saying a few minutes ago about trimming. You know, when you learn how to trim your briskets really well, and you learn that, you know, a lot of people do, you know, they damn near have an aneurysm when they see us cutting and trimming briskets and how much we're cutting off and this and that. And they're like, dude, what are you doing? It's because we know we're going to use this stuff for other things.
Hey,
You
I
know?
put barbecue in the link right there. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah. So, man, go over and check dude out. You know, I don't know him, but man, he's a, you know, he's a bad guy. You know, he's a bad, you know.
So, but yeah, if you know you're gonna do other things with the trimmings, then you don't mind it. If you end up getting a brisket, I mean, you don't want it on a regular, but yeah, if you do get a brisket that sometimes has some little abnormal, you know, gouges or whatever, you got to do a little bit more trimming to it to get that brisket looking the way you want it to look. But again, you already know that you're going to use all of this stuff you're trimming off is not getting thrown away. You put it in the bag, put it in your freezer. When you're ready to deal with it, trim it down. As I said earlier, we're going to be doing smoked ribs fried in beef tallow. Beef tallow is another great one. When you keep doing these briskets and trimming the briskets, trim that fat off of it or whatever and collect your pile of fat. Put it in a, if you're not doing it on a smoker, you want to do it in the house, fine. Put it in the crock pot, or you can do it in a crock pot too, but I was going to say put it in the Dutch oven, put it in your oven and render it down slow. You know, if you've got room on your pit, put it in an aluminum pan, put it on your pit. You can have smoked beef tallow. Render that beef down, you know, nice and slow. And then basically in either application, filter it out through some cheesecloth or whatever it might be that you have to filter it out with. Put it in a container and you got beef tallow, you know, perfectly good liquid gold beef tallow. Otherwise, you can take more trimmings. You can take the meat and you can actually make carne asada out of it. You know, you can grind it up. Fat and meat, you can grind it all up, make it into hamburgers or make it into sausage or whatever it is you might want to do with it. But that's why we don't, you know, trip out when we trim, and we trim deeply, we trim aggressively, because we know we're going to do other things with it. So if you get a brisket that is gouged or whatever, that's cool. Just trim it down. It might be a smaller brisket, you know, when you get it on the pit. But hey, it's going to be a good uniform brisket. As you said earlier, once you get that thing trimmed down right, now you know that everything comes off that pit is being eaten. You know, you're not having to, oh, well, this part I can't eat. I got to throw that in the chili or whatever it might be. No, you can pretty much, as long as you go back to what I said earlier, maintain your fires correctly, and you got good solid temperatures and you're not crisping your brisket, you can pretty much eat everything that's going to come off that pit. And when you said it earlier, TNT, that, you know, when you talk about all these different restaurants or whatever, when they do all these trimmings and stuff on their briskets, basically they get a case of briskets and they're getting cases of briskets and trimming all these things. Why do they trim them like that? Is because one, they're trying to make the best possible product that they can that comes off that pit to get to your plate. But two, they try to get all these briskets a very similar size and shape so that they can all get on the pit and they can all cook to completion in a very close time. You know, because they're trying to, this is all, they're maximizing everything that they have, all their resources, so that they can get the best product out the most efficient way. And that's the best efficient way that they can do it, by getting briskets on and off at relatively the same time. And so that's what they do. And so all this other stuff that they do with the trimmings or whatever, again, in a restaurant, they'll make a bunch of other things with it. So
yeah, you know, and that's that, and that's what I've been doing. You know, well, I've been saving them, but that's what I will be doing once my new grinder comes. I still got my small grinder, but it's just too much work. I'm investing now into I'm investing into a bigger grinder because, like I say, I got too much trim to be playing around with this small grinder, and I'm just gonna go ahead and do 100 pounds of sausage at one time. So look for that video. I'm gonna be live all that day because me and my kids gonna be working hard on that.
Yeah. You know, one thing, if you're into sausage making, man, one thing you might want to try making is try making some boudin, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Try making some barbecue smoked boudin.
Okay, then I'm gonna try some boudin. You know, my granddaddy used to make some boudin back in the day. You know, You know, like,
one of the restaurants down this way in Houston makes some really good boudin. And one of the things that he does is he doesn't even do, the traditional way. You get your pork shoulder and your livers and all that stuff, and you boil it with your Trinity. And they don't even do any of that. You know what they do is they actually use use their barbecue trimmings.
okay.
So like when they're doing their pork ribs, their pork butts, or whatever it might be, they use that as their meat, thrown in with their Trinity and their spices and what have you, and they make their barbecue smoked boudin, and it's really good.
Man, that's and that'd be a way better product putting
It's just
out.
something to play with.
Yeah, it is. Yes, most definitely.
So, and if y'all are out there listening, watching, whatever, please take away that barbecue is like playing in a playground. There's so many different things that you can play with and things that you can do, and you just don't get stuck in that one way. Play around with something and come up with some creativity, and just I think that when people are looking and listening to what we say and use that as the gospel and say, oh, I have to do it this way. Wait, he did it for 2 hours and 33 seconds, and I gotta, no, you gotta play around with it and just come up with your own thing, because you might come up with something that nobody's done before, and you might have that next best creation, but you won't know it if you're being stuck in a box. One of the things that's funny, Jean, for those of you that don't know, Jean is my wife that's in the chat. One of the things that she says was one of the best things I've ever made her was a candied chicken. And it was absolutely 1000% an accident. Playing around with stuff that I was, cooking or whatever, and came across this, and it was like one of the things that she latched on, like, oh my God, this was like really good. And it was one of those things, and I don't care, I'll tell you, because I, mess up in the kitchen, but I wasn't paying attention. I was down. This is when she actually lived in Houston. I lived in Austin when we first met. And I went down to her place, and I was down there. I'm going to make her gumbo and, whatever, this and that, the other. And yeah, I messed around, dude, and grabbed powdered sugar instead of flour, making a roux.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, man. And for those of you guys that don't know, the job that I work nights, I work days. Some days I don't know my name. I don't know what I'm doing, whatever. And it happened to be one of those. I worked all night, got off, went down, hit a shower, slept for maybe 2 hours, got back up, started doing stuff, and I was still kind of out of it. And I grabbed sugar, and I'm in there making roux, and I'm trying to figure out why this roux won't come together. Yeah, I'm like, what the hell's going on? And I go and hit it, and I put some chicken and stuff in there, and whatever. And next thing you know, I got this concoction I'm looking at, like, the hell is this? And it ended up being this sweetened, crispy chicken that was pretty freaking good, actually. So just you kind of play around with stuff, man, and just have fun, man. Have fun.
Amen. And I like that when you say barbecue. Go ahead. Go ahead, bro.
Okay. Question to Godfather. I did ask you about this TNT last night. Godfather, what type of wood do you prefer smoking with?
Okay. So for me, I'm a Central Texas guy. I love post oak. That's my number one is going to be post oak. A lot of people here in Texas use mesquite. I don't care for mesquite too much for smoking. I do like mesquite when it comes to hot and fast grilling, grilling steaks or stuff like that. I have had, and I think the reason is because mesquite is so pungent. And mesquite can really take over your barbecue real quick. And you go to places down here that don't have a clean burn, you know what I mean? And so when they're cooking with mesquite, and it becomes that pungent flavor or whatever, so I don't really care for it. But I have had mesquite where people that know how to cook with it, and it was really good. But it's just my preference is always going to be post oak.
So, Elton, you don't like burping up your barbecue?
No, man. Dude, I tell people that all the time. If you go have barbecue, because they'll say, oh, man, I don't like burping up barbecue for days. And I'm like, that's because you had some really bad barbecue. Well, no, it was good when I was eating. No, if you eat barbecue and you're burping it up for the next 2-3 days, that was what you call a dirty burn.
Oh,
Yeah.
You know,
I
people that
hate
don't know how to
oh,
manage the fires, and their fire is smoldering, and that thick white
ooh.
smoke is coming out. You know, and so yeah,
Good
not my
point.
thing. Not my
Good
thing.
point. Good point.
I
Good
got a
point.
joke about
Good
that.
point. Good point.
I was at a contest
Good point.
and a guy came up to me, true story. He was like, I can tell you don't know nothing about barbecue, T. You just beat anybody. Look at your smoker. You can't even tell us on. Look at my smoker. You see all that white smoke? You see all that smoke? That's smoke. I was like, raise my hand. I'm the champ. You know, already because, you know, people, smoke is an ingredient. It's an ingredient. You know, it's not a main thing. It's an ingredient. The meat is an ingredient. The salt, the pepper, everything has to blend together in harmony to create the bite. But whether you want to add 5 ounces of smoke or you want to add but it's an ingredient. You can overdo it or you can underdo it. So
Absolutely.
you have to treat everything as an ingredient. And to me, the best meat you could get is an ingredient. You know, it just and I think that's what I take away from a lot of things. Like everything is an ingredient. You got to respect all ingredients. You just can't.
Absolutely.
You know, I love Cavender's. Cavender's Greek seasoning is my seasoning. And it won me a lot of money. It brought me a lot of money. But I got to respect it. I can't go crazy with the Cavender's because, you know, I got to so everything has to be ingredient. You know, it has to blend together to a great tasting product at the end. Now I may go out here and try different recipes when it comes to YouTube videos and things like that because that's how I try it out. But when it comes to my customers, I try to put out the same quality food all the time, and that's why I kind of lean towards that my own little SPG without. When I use salt, I use rubs that have salt in it, and that's what I count for salt. I don't just use straight salt. So I may use a seasoned salt, and then use a Cavender's, and then use another kind of salt, but it go equal to that
One part of salt you're using.
That one part of salt I'm using. So that's how I look at things. And I think that's why I can use a bunch of seasonings, but still not have it salty because I'm counting that as one part of salt.
Okay,
Yeah.
TNT, and this question is to both of y'all. When it comes to seasoning, I've been lately. I've been tending just to stick to, and I've been having luck with this. To me, just with the coarse salt and black pepper mixture, which you can do your ratio of how you want to do it. What do y'all think about that? Just, you know, as far as, you know, depending on what you're cooking, I say we like the heavy meats, like with a brisket, just black pepper and salt.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, Elton, I tried your method, bro. I went out, Elton, and I went to Fiesta brand, and I brought some of that black pepper, Elton, that you get from Fiesta brand, and I put that on some brisket one day, and the pepper flavor was just like, I was like, I can't handle it, you know. But that's me. You're supposed to get this caramelized cookie, kind of different texture. I haven't got there yet. So me, when I do pepper, I kind of do it a little lighter, and I want to go with the more restaurant grade pepper because to me, that Fiesta brand, that's for y'all down South Texas boys. I'm a Florida guy, so I'm gonna kind of stay in my lane, you know. But I get out my lane every now and then. But I'm just saying, you know, Elton, you know, I tried, bro, but it just, you know, like you say, you know, I gotta stay in my lane.
Well, one thing I'll tell you this. Let me ask you this: where did you get your pepper from?
Mm.
I bought the Fiesta brand.
So you got it at your grocery store? Or?
No, I brought it from. Well, yeah, it's like a grocery store. Yeah, I brought it from a grocery store. Yeah.
So this is what I'm gonna tell you. We don't use that.
Okay. Okay.
So we use the 16 mesh. 16 mesh from Fiesta, which you ain't gonna get in the grocery store.
No, that's what I was using. That's what I got. I got a 16 mesh.
So the 16. So here's the ones that I use. There's
Yeah.
the 16 mesh, which we don't have them in our grocery stores here. So I actually have a guy that's a distributor for them that I go to his warehouse and I get them. I actually have a 50-pound bucket. Actually, I'm sorry, a 25-pound bucket of this 16 mesh that I have here at the house. So the 16 mesh, as well as the 30. So those are the ones that we have that we use, and that's why that gives you a different flavor. The stuff you typically get this at the grocery store is going to be ground finer than that, and so it's going to give you a lot more of that in your face flavor.
Okay.
The stuff that's ground a little bigger is not going to give you that smack you in the face flavor. You just get the flavor of pepper. Now, before people go into this, well, pepper is pepper. No, it's not. It's not.
Okay.
I've tried the peppers from Costco. I've tried the stuff from Sam's. I've tried all this other stuff, whatever. It's not the same. So I went down to San Antonio and went to the Fiesta, the Boners plant, where they put together all of these seasonings and whatever, and they make them. I didn't know this, but they even make stuff for, Whataburger and all these other. I didn't know that, but anyway, side note. But they gave us the history and they gave us, the story of how they get their pepper, because all the pepper that's made out throughout the world, there's only certain places on the planet they get the pepper from. And so what happens is the processes of which these different companies go through to get or harvest the pepper that they use. Fiesta has a more stringent process and protocols in how they harvest that pepper and how they make their pepper. So it's very different. It's a very different flavor than any of the other peppers. And I kept for years, man, I kept trying to figure out. I would go to this restaurant and I would get their brisket and it had this flavor. And I was like, dude, I got to learn how to do that. And I would go and, talk to, and none of these pit masters are secret, dude. They all tell you what they do. They'll tell you salt and pepper. They'll tell you, and you're thinking, nah, they're doing something different because it's got this flavor. It's the pepper.
Okay.
So 16 mesh, and we'll talk offline, dude, and I'll send you some. I'll put some in. I'll send you some. But the 16 mesh that I use now has this flavor about it that you just can't get with these other peppers from these other companies and other whatevers. And so I'll use straight kosher salt and pepper, and I'll play around with a ratio of 3 or 4 to 1, 3 or 4 parts of pepper to 1 part salt is what I'll use. One of the, and to give you an idea of difference in whatever's, but how we talk about Central Texas flavors or whatever, one of the most famous places down here, Louis Mueller's Barbecue is off in Taylor. They do I believe it's a 9 to 1 pepper to salt, but they don't use kosher salt. They actually use iodized table salt.
What?
Yeah. And they make some fantastic barbecue. Wayne Miller is running that place. And, when we did that whole meetup where all these guys from all over YouTube land came to my house last year in February or whatever, and I took them out there, they were blown away, and they were using table salt and pepper.
Wow.
So
Yeah. But
that's what I do.
Now, I wish you could send that the black pepper. I wish you can put that link in there somewhere so I can see where you get that from.
You know what? You can't get it online, man. This is like an exclusive thing that they do all the restaurants all over the place here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where can you get it from?
if you know a guy.
Okay. So we gotta you gotta have a hookup. Oh, I see what. Okay, now I get it. Now you gotta. You gotta know somebody knows. Okay, I got you now.
Yeah,
I got
yeah.
you now.
Because actually, one of my other friends is up in the Dallas area, and he wanted some, and so I was going, let me talk to my guy,
Yeah,
because they
yeah,
service pretty much all the grocery
yeah,
stores. And he
yeah,
says,
yeah,
yeah. He says, I'll
yeah,
tell you
yeah,
what, I'll meet up with you. And he met up with him, and he got some, and he's like,
yeah,
dude, you're right. This pepper is way different
yeah.
than
But
what you buy
yeah,
at the grocery store. I'm like,
man, yeah,
yeah, it is.
yeah. You'd be surprised, man, and yeah, you'd be surprised, man. That black pepper and the salt mixture, just even just using the the store brand product, but it made a difference for me because I still feel like the meat, the quality of the meat and the smoke is gonna bring out the taste. Either way it go. You like the season. And of course you go out to season the meat, but I still say with the smoke and the quality of the meat, I think that's the most. I never want to over season the meat. I want you to taste that meat,
Right.
and that's me and the quality of the meat and with the smoke in there. I think it's something phenomenal.
But this one
Absolutely.
came in, Elton. It was that Fiesta brand. It was a coarse ground black pepper,
Yeah.
and this what it came in right here. Can you see that?
No, put it in front of your camera. I can't see it right now.
Okay.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. So I have some of those same bottles that we have in the kitchen,
Okay. So
and
is
they
this
say that's not it.
okay then? Okay, because this was too big. I thought it was too big for 16 mesh. Cause I got 16 mesh black pepper. This black pepper was like big chunk. So cause if I'm not, the holes were like, look how big the black pepper holes was. They was huge, and it was just too.
So you'll see coarse ground black pepper at your grocery store that's Fiesta brand. It's not the same mesh.
Okay. I'm just glad because I do got some 16 mesh right here. Oh, Lord.
Probably a different brand.
Yeah.
Yeah, because different. What I found is that different companies will call their grinds different things sometimes, and they're not equivalent.
Yeah,
If that makes sense.
Yeah, this is not equivalent right here. This is not. I bought this black pepper. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
And that's 16 mesh right there.
Yeah. So, because I've even bought it at a Restaurant Depot. You get some of the peppers that they have at Restaurant Depot, and I thought, oh man, this will be. Nah, it wasn't the same. It wasn't the same at all.
Wow.
And then once I tried this one, the first one I tried with Fiesta, I tried the 29, and the 29 it had that flavor. It absolutely had the flavor. And then they did away with the 29 and went 30, and they had the 30 and 32 and so forth. But they did away with the 29 and went 30. And then some of these restaurants started wanting the 16. And so they came up and start doing the 16. And now it's like everybody's jumped on the 16. And so the 16 mesh is what a lot of them use. And so even in, I think it was Brother James, Aiming and Claiming Smokers, in his video, he did a collaboration with CJ, not cooking with CJ, but another CJ. The guy I was speaking of earlier when I said that I can sit there and watch his trimming videos. He's a Clarence Joseph is a barbecue competitor down here, and they did a brisket collaboration recently. And James spoke about how when he put together his rub for that brisket, he used kosher salt and he used 2 different grinds of pepper. So you have the more coarse, and then you had the more fine. The more fine pepper gives you more of the pepper flavor, the smack you in the face flavor, and the coarser stuff gives you that good solid bark.
Okay. Okay then.
Yeah, I noticed that. So, I think to me, when I go to like maybe a pecan, I don't know if you heard of Pecan Lodge or some of the
in Dallas,
more popular restaurants. I can tell that bark is just a little bit different, and maybe they're using the I can tell, man.
Yeah,
I see it.
A lot of these places are using that pepper, man. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a different bark, dude.
It is. Yeah. And we're not knocking earlier. Like I said, do what you like, dude. If you like using, Cosmos or Suckle Busters or whatever it might be, go for it. I'm not telling you it's bad. I'm just telling you I play around with tons of different rubs and this and that and the other. But if you ask me what's my favorite, I'm always going to tell you salt and pepper.
Hey, Joe, where you at, Joe?
Yep, I agree.
Joe, where you at, Joe? Joe ain't in the chat no more. So, what I got here now? Both of y'all guys are Texas, okay? So when I grew up, we always looked at bark as bad, negative, because
Hey, Smoking Joe's still in the chat.
okay,
We need to get Smoking Joe in here.
Yeah, we need to get Smoking Joe in here. But I always looked at bark as a bad thing until I met my boy Tori from Corpus. That's the original TNT. My name was Thyre. His name was Tori. He was from Corpus Christi. And he always talked about bark this. It don't got the bark teeth. I always liked that golden brown color. You know, I'm from Florida. We had open pit. I grew up cooking on open pit. You know, the golden brown ribs, you know, just mopping the ribs with the
got that
vinegar.
Crustiness on it.
Yes, the vinegar and stuff, mopping it, flipping it, you know, and then, you know, that's the kind of barbecue I grew up in. Chopping the pork, that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But when I introduced the brisket, man, I tell you what, though, I learned my brisket game off of y'all guys. If it weren't for YouTube, I wouldn't be in the brisket game, bro. Because let me tell you something. That brisket game, it is tricky. Because, Elton, let me tell you how I used to cook my brisket, Elton. I used to smoke it for 5 hours, get some smoke flavor on it, put them in the 2 aluminum pans, dump some beef broth in it, wrap them up, and let them go. And when they used to go, I mean, I ain't taking the turn temperature. Basically, when I could grab them and pull them apart, that's when it was done. That was my brisket game.
Yeah.
You know, that was my brisket game. And then
a lot of people cook brisket like that. That's what they, you know, they got comfortable with. And dude, if that's what they like and that's what you like, go for it.
No, I don't like that.
Yeah. Not after you had what you had probably, you know, this way.
Yeah. You know, because it's like, you know, when it's barbecue, you only like what you're supposed to. You know, so when YouTube came around and I got bit by this YouTube bug and I went to, cause all I remember when I first started watching YouTube was JB. You know JB, right? With a deep voice from Louisiana.
Oh yeah. I know you're talking about.
Asian
dude. Yeah. I forgot about that dude. He's been around a while.
Yeah. So basically, he used to do just beef rib videos, a lot of beef rib videos. So I was just hooked on trying to try different things, and then, you know, that's when I found like T-Roy, and I found a couple other guys, and I just say, oh, look how they're doing their briskets, you know. And when I met James, he just gave me the game. And then I met Joe, and Joe just reaffirmed things. Joe like, yo, T, do it this way. And next thing you know, I'm putting out briskets like, okay, you know, okay. Because every once in a while, I'll look up and hit a home run. But now I think I'm consistency due to the fact of YouTube. That's why I tell people, man, like, it's a wealth of knowledge on here.
It is.
You don't have to.
YouTube University.
Pretty much. Pretty much, man.
School, man.
No, it's a lot of people out here. You get exposed to a lot of different ways to do brisket.
Yeah.
You know, and as you said, you know, speaking about Florida and East Coast, you know, a lot of people don't know this, but originally I'm from Virginia. You know, I've just been in Texas since I was a little bitty kid. You know, my dad was military, and that's how I ended up out here. But yeah, man, doing that, you know, like the whole hog barbecue where they got the chopped, you know, pork and got the vinegar sauce in it and all that. I mean, that's what, you know, when I was a little kid, man, I used to eat some of that stuff, and it was the good stuff.
Yeah,
you know?
Man. This right here, this come from Uncle Sayed. This Pine Street Barbecue. These are living legends. Barbecue been open since the doggone 50s.
Right.
They
Hey,
got,
Joe just hit it on the head right there, dude. Free masterclasses, YouTube.
yeah.
Absolutely. Just the only difference between us and like, you know, Franklin, dude, he knows how to market it.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, because it's funny because
Yeah.
I've seen the master classes, you know, whatever. I've got that whole masterclass university because I just love cooking. I'd like to see how people do a lot of
That's
different
right.
things.
That's right.
But no, Aaron Franklin, you know, does what he does, and people from outside, you know, of Texas that are being able to get to see the behind the scenes and you know how what he does, and their minds are all completely blown, you know, like, oh my God,
Yeah.
you know, I never would have thought.
Wow.
And we're like,
Yeah.
dude, we've been doing this every
Yeah,
day,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it's what we do, you know.
Man,
You know, you 6'5".
barbecue.
Man, Joe drinking too many mimosas this morning, man.
You 6'5".
Nah, bro.
Oh.
Not at all. Joe, you need to get in this chat, man. You need to get on screen with us, man.
Come on, Joe, where you at? Man, I'm out here cooking a brisket on electric smoker and using some. Hey, disclaimer, Joe. This is the first time I ever used Tender Quick. I'm just telling y'all this. So do not be capping. This is the only time I ever put Tender Quick on a brisket. So don't be going back to my old video saying, oh, that's what that smoke ring look like that.
Hey, dude, whatever you got to do to make it work, as long as you like it,
I
man.
want
It's
to
all
see what
good.
it. I want to. Yeah, I want to see what it look like. I hope we post it, man.
Oh man, no, I am like I'm working on a video right now, man. It's frigid out there, man. I got the smoker up by my door. I'm just out here just trying to. Man, it's so cold out there too. We got snow everywhere. It's crazy.
I think we're going to be in the 70s today.
I know it, Cole. Yeah.
We hit no, get this.
Yeah.
We hit high record. Was it yesterday? No, Thursday. I think it was hit. We hit a high record here for Austin for February. What was it? February 4th, and it was 86 degrees.
Wow.
86 degrees, man.
Gotta love
Yesterday, I think
Texas.
it didn't even get out of. I don't think it got up to 60 yesterday. But today it's going to be 70s, mid 70s. By middle of next week, they're talking about we might have the sleet and stuff again.
Sure,
so
right.
I
That's
mean,
Texas.
Oh my goodness!
That's Texas.
What's the temperature?
It's 1 degree outside.
man, no,
What?
man. Hey, I'm gonna tell you like I tell Gene all the time, man. We ain't supposed to be in those temperatures. We tropical people, bro.
Yeah. You know, I was born and raised in Florida, man.
Yeah, you up there, man. Come on, man. Can't do it.
Oh, my wife is from here. My wife is from here.
Baby, I
Is that why
love you,
you
but we
on
got to
that
go back to Florida.
Is that why you on that electric smoker?
Man.
Is that why you on that electric smoker?
Well, I sit around here, ain't got nothing to do. My cook. Yes, I'm supposed to been doing a ice fishing tournament tomorrow, and I went to the store, and the ice fishing tournament, it was going to be like 100 teams, and it was going to be 4 teams per persons. So I went to the store. I spent like $700 on just ribs, and I bought the cases of brisket, the pork butts, the sausages. I was gonna make the sausages today. Get the brisket on, and I got all this meat, and my deep freezer's filled up with brisket trim. And the guy called me Tuesday afternoon, was like, "Hey, we're canceling the ice fishing tournament." I'm like, "What? You know, what am I gonna do with all this meat? You know, because I'm out of deep freezer space." So what I did was I just put it in my trailer, and if they froze like the same day I froze them, So after this week, I'm taking them to the American Legion. I'm putting them in the deep freezer at the American Legion because but nothing's free. So they may not charge me, but when the veterans say, "At, we need you to, we need to raise money," I'm always going to do it. But I'm just saying nothing free. So
Yes.
you know, it's things like that. You got to be adapt. You got to know how to adapt to this business ever changing. And I was going to do a Facebook me. Let me know if you want a slab of ribs on instant message, and cook all the ribs, things like that. 80 slabs of ribs, but man, it's just too cold. It's too cold. You got to know when enough is enough. You got to know.
Yep.
No,
And I'm sitting up in here now, cold. And, I can't imagine out there no 1 degree. Nah, brother. Can't do it.
Yes,
Hey, but look, man, I just wanted to pop in and say hello, saw you on, whatever. I ain't mean for it to come off like this, but we had a great conversation.
Yeah.
So,
I love it,
Yeah,
dude.
man.
Hell, we've been on. Me and this dude right here. Me and Cub right here. Me and K-Bo. We've been on since 12 o'clock. No, about 11 o'clock. We've been on since 11 o'clock.
Man.
We had to delete the video because we deleted the video, but we
went in.
Yeah, K-Bo will go to sleep on me though, Ellen.
Man.
K-Bo, can you hang?
Yeah.
Can you hang?
Man, say, man, I tell you what, you got a hyena over there, man. This dude is very knowledgeable, man, and man, dude.
Honestly,
man,
hey, I appreciate that. I appreciate it. Man, I ain't gonna lie. I'm guilty. I take it for granted, because we do it so much here. It's second nature, and and I feel like, and my wife, she slows me down because I take it for granted and think that people already know this stuff, and so I don't expand on it sometimes when I'm shooting videos or what have you, and because I'm thinking, oh man, everybody knows how to do it. No, you got to stop. She's a teacher, and God bless teachers out there because it takes a special type of person to be a teacher. You know what I mean? And so for me, it's like I'm like getting right into the cook and just do what I do, and she's like, babe, you got to slow down. And you got to sometimes teach it to people like they've never seen it before. And of course, I'm like, everybody knows how to do this, And then I have somebody hit me up and say, hey, so how exactly do you like charcoal? Then I'm like, oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I really do need to slow down and really break it down to its most basic form. So I'm guilty of that at times. But hey, like I tell everybody that follows my channel, man, you go to the About tab on my channel. And I've got my email on there. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. Hit me up. You got questions about whatever it might be, and you don't feel comfortable popping in the chat, whatever. Hit me up.
Hey,
and we'll talk about it.
That's right.
Yeah, I just left a link to Smoking Joe Pitts barbecue, guys. Go over there and subscribe to his channel. I'm telling you, man, these guys,
great dude.
These guys put you on. And I'm finna go to Mad Wood channel and leave this link on the description and go over there and subscribe to his channel because this is how I learned this stuff, man, because these guys are beasts on these barbecue grills.
We just dudes that like to cook, man. That's all it is.
I'm telling you, I really learned a lot from y'all guys, man, and I appreciate y'all guys. And bro, K-Bo, man, I learned a lot from you, bro. I'm serious, man. Like that.
Yeah.
That Weber Smoky Mountain class.
I'm just a little man. I'm learning from two big. two big dogs, and man, I appreciate y'all a lot, man. And I'm soaking it all in, man. And TNT and both of y'all, man, y'all keep on putting out that good information, man. And one thing I know about this though, you gotta have the love for this. And
Oh
barbecue, you
yeah.
gotta have the love for
Yeah,
it, man. But
yeah. You can't just play with it because then you'll fall off. You'll fall
Yeah.
off.
You
You'll
know,
fall
and
off.
if you don't love it, it comes through when you put that food on that plate and that plate hits the table. People know
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
something you can't
That's right.
hide, man.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to put your all into it. You know,
You know, I ain't
it
no
ain't for everybody.
but I do got people waiting 3 hours, 4 hours, get some TNT around the line,
It
waiting.
happens. It
You know,
happens.
I got groupies, I got peeps. You
Yes,
know, but
sir.
the thing about it though is that it's my willingness to wanna do better.
Yep.
And I think that's what and I take my pride down and I'm asking. I'm not gonna let my pride interfere with putting out the best barbecue. I don't mind calling Elton, Joe. None of these guys be like, hey man, what I gotta call it Elton. Well, Elton just stepped on the scene. I said, hey dude, I'm looking for a new smoker. What's up? And you remember that? We had that conversation, Elton?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
We was chatting back and forth, but I really wanted to, because I was thinking about getting like a Texas smoker, and I decided to go with a different smoker, but still yet though, the smoker that Ellen referred to me was just a little too much steep.
Was it? Did you go with was it HBT?
Yeah. Well, I wanted to go. I went with the Sling and Steel custom smoker. That's what I went with.
Oh, okay.
I went with that reverse flow, the Beast with the helmet rack. That's what I went with. But at
Because
first,
it looks a lot like the HBT smokers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at first, I was looking at trying to get like one of those, something like a Fat Stack or something like that. And which my home
propane tank style.
Yeah.
They're pricey, man. Some of them are.
My homeboy just went and brought one from Texas, brought it up here to Iowa, and kid you not, he paid $13,000 for the smoker, and he just sold it for $5,000 because he couldn't use it.
Couldn't use it? Why?
Hey, everybody ain't able, Elton.
What kind of smoker was it?
It was let me pull up on my phone. It was a Fat Stack. Let me see. So, well,
that's right, James. James says smokers are so expensive, and it really depends on what you get. You're right. Some of them can be.
This is the smoker you got right here. Let me see if I find. And I'm just going. So he went out of Texas and he brought this smoker right here from Brothers Market. This is smoker he brought. Can you see it? He got.
Oh yeah. Okay.
That's the smoker he brought right there.
I've seen one of those because of that distinct firebox style.
Yeah. So he brought that smoker. He brought it here to Iowa.
500 gallon.
Huh?
Was that a 500 gallon propane tank?
500 gallon. Yep.
For 13 grand.
Yeah. So he brought it. He came to Iowa. Hey, do you remember me and him did a video together? It was a brisket cook-off me and him did together. We did he challenged me. He used one of my smokers because he says that, whatever. I spanked him and something by itself, But the thing what I'm trying to say is that what you can't realize that this don't make you a pit master.
No.
Spending $13,000 don't make you a pit master. Spend $100,000 a pit master.
No.
Bro, I can get a piece of tin, get me some bricks, dig a hole,
That's right.
put me some expanded metal over them brick pits and put out some amazing barbecue. That's what I grew up cooking.
Yep.
You got to love this stuff. You got to.
I'm gonna leave on this note. A man told me one time, and that's good what you said about I love barbecue pits, fancy pits. I love that. I love the smoke. Beautiful. I love all that. Man told me once though. He said this. And I'm gonna leave with this. He say, son. He say, you make all the money you want. He said, just make it look good. He said, you'll have a line wrapped around the building. Just make it look good, and they'll come. They'll come. Just make it look. Just long as you got that barbecue right there. Something about barbecue. He said, just make it look good.
You look good. Well,
Barbecue's a social food, man.
That's it.
yeah.
You know, we all like
That's
to get
it.
around, get the fire going, get you a cold beverage, get some music playing, and you know, conversation happens, and you just have a great time. You know, and that's what it's all about.
Question, Elton.
Now
What is your
you look at these commercial places, Spring Creek. How are these places in business? Spring Creek barbecue. That ain't no barbecue, man.
Like I said,
But
man, I
it's a
tell people all the
business, though.
time, barbecue is all about what you like. There's a market for it. Those people like it. So it is what it is. I might not prefer it.
Yep.
You know, and so I might not eat it, but hey, the next person will. And I'm not gonna tell you don't go try it. Go try it. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, then try the next spot.
That's right.
I know how hard barbecue can be. I used to be one of those that I would slam a place, you know, and tell you, oh man, this place is horrible, it's trash, you know, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But the fact of the matter is this: barbecue is hard.
It is,
you know. When you're talking about, you know, the mass amounts of barbecue and having to be consistent, anybody can you can go outside and fire up your pit and make the best damn brisket you possibly can if you've ever made in your life. But can you make 100 briskets a day like that, day in, day out, and satisfy everybody that walks through your doors? It's hard. You know what I mean? It's hard.
I always said this. Much as I like it, I say I couldn't do it for a living because I just couldn't. I don't know, man. It's just too much for me. I love it, but just to do it every day, man, that barbecue is a lot, man. If you want to me, I want to perfect it.
I don't want to perfect it. I don't want to perfect. I want to have that pursuit of perfection, because if I ever felt like I perfected it, then I'm going the opposite direction at that point.
Yeah.
So I always want to be chasing that perfection. You know what I mean? Because I feel like you always can get better.
You remember I told you that pipe dream?
That's true.
I kind of, you know, I work in the jail, so I kind of compare crazy stuff. So I compare barbecue to a pipe dream. Like, you know, when they say when somebody experienced that first hit of that drug or crack or whatever it is, they like chasing the dragon. That's how it was with me with barbecue. I took that first hit and I'm always chasing it because I want to get that flavor. You know, I'm chasing it. You know, yeah. You know, and I know that's a bad analogy, but
well, you know what? I'm gonna share this with you guys because this is something else that, you know. Again, when I saw this on you know, the Franklin Masterclass, I'm like, dude, we all do this, but you know.
Yeah.
So here you go. Y'all seen this before, right?
Yep. I see.
So barbecue journal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so when you're chasing to get better, you gotta take notes, man.
Yeah.
You gotta take notes of what you do. You know, take notes of what wood you're using, what cooker you're using, what temperature, ambient temperature it is outside. Is it windy? Is it raining? Is it cold? Is it hot? Okay, what type of meat are we using? This is the temperature that I'm cooking at. You know, it took me this many splits of wood to get my coal bed right. You know, and how often am I seeing my temperatures drop? How often am I having to put in a split of wood? All of these different little things. And they're very little as you go through the process, but results are huge in flavor later.
Yes.
And so these are the things that you want to keep track of when you're making these decisions and you're doing your cooks and you're trying to get the best product out you can. Some of this might work for this cook, but it might not work when it's cold outside. So what do I have to do when it's cold outside? What do I have to do when it's windy outside?
That part.
No.
You know, so it's
part.
take notes of what you're doing, what worked and what didn't work.
Mm.
Don't just scrap what didn't work, but maybe it might work in a different application.
Wow.
You know, but you put together all of these different little
Fact.
things and you end up with a volume of knowledge that you know at this once you start to work through it all, you can now put yourself on cruise control because you know exactly what to do. Anybody can cook in a perfect situation, perfect conditions.
Sit.
You know, but what happens if something happens to your cooker?
Wow.
You know, and now you got this situation going on and you're finding it harder to maintain temperatures. What do you do? You know, pit masters have to go through that every day, you know, when they're cooking stuff and having to, you know, to face all the different adverse situations and conditions. But you know what? The backyard griller can be just as good and just as efficient by learning your craft. You don't want to just throw it in a smoker and walk away.
Well, and I would say, and I would add to that, and what you, that's deep. You went deep right there. Perfect. And I would say this: learn your pit. Learn
first and foremost.
your pit.
Yeah, learn your pit. Yeah,
learn that pit, man. You know, as far as you know, you open, you know, as far as your
yes, and I tell you what, to me, I prefer to cook in this 1 degree weather than cooking wind.
Wind can be hell.
Better temperatures, 1 degree, negative below zero, that you can maintain when it's windy outside. When that wind blowing 15, 20 miles per hour, you got to know what you're doing out there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You can't be playing with it then because you may have to get your whole grill and turn it a different way.
You know, I'm gonna tell you one last story, dude. I'm gonna get going because you got some things we got to get around to doing today. But expand on what Cabo just said on knowing your pit. I'll tell you this story because it's actually pretty cool. But one of my friends, you know, barbecue. He's in the barbecue through and through. He was selling barbecue, you know, out of his garage. People buying briskets and this and that and the other. And you know, I'd heard from so many people, you know, how good his barbecue, because I hadn't met him at this point. I hadn't met him yet. And we were at that point where we decided, okay, you know what? Let's go ahead and get us a food trailer. Okay. We were gonna get a food trailer and start, you know, trying to sell barbecue, because I had started my LLC back. This was when we were talking about this. This was back in like 2012. I had started my LLC back in 2007, where I was doing on-site barbecue catering and this and that and the other, but ended up going back into the corporate world. So now we're at this point like, hey, let's go ahead and get a food trailer and let's start whatever. So Gene and I have been on the search, you know, going around looking for food trailers and this and that and the other, and stumbled across this guy that lives here in the Pflugerville area, and went to go meet him and see his trailer that he was selling or whatever. And we didn't end up buying the trailer, but we found a friendship, you know, really cool dude. So anyway, kept hearing, you know, from people that, hey, you know, this guy's barbecue is good and blah, 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 yada, 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 this and that, the other. And next thing I know, I kept running into this guy all the time. You know, we'd be at the grocery store. Hey, what's going on? You know, and we'd be over here. Hey, what's going on? So finally we exchanged numbers and, you know, started hanging out, whatever. So anyway, I went ahead and bought a brisket. You know, got a brisket from him or whatever, and you know, brought it home, and I didn't like it. You know, and gave it to the kids, and my kids didn't even like it. You know, they wouldn't eat it. You know, and next day he hit me up and he's like, hey, dude, you know, I just wanted to check with you, see how did you like that brisket? You know, you're a barbecue guy, and I always get nervous when barbecue guys, you know, try my food or whatever. And I said, well, man, I said, are we honestly speaking? You know, we working together, we talking, we gonna be honest with each other. He's like, yeah. I said, well, all right. I said, dude, I didn't like it. I said, I felt like it was tough. You know, the smoke flavor was a little lacking. You know, the flavor overall was a little, you know, this and that and the other. And he's like, damn it. And I said, what? He goes, man, I ran out of pit space and I had to borrow a pit from somebody. And
Oh,
this was one of the briskets that came off that pit. And he said
oh,
I was fighting that pit the entire freaking night, trying to get my temperatures right and this and that and the other.
mhm,
And yada, yada, yada. He says, man, I didn't know the pit, and this thing, but I was trying to do the capacity,
mhm.
And he says, man, I'm sorry. I said, dude, you don't have to apologize. I know how hard it can be. I get
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And so long story short on this guy, man, is that he stopped doing that. He stuck with what he had, with what his pit, was or whatever.
Yeah.
Got to the pit that he needed to handle the capacity of numbers that he was putting in at that time,
Yeah.
and started to get his quality back under control and really honed it in.
Oh,
To
man.
this day, this guy has 2 barbecue restaurants here now. He's got a line of barbecue sauces. He's got a line of hot, kicked up, heated barbecue sauces that literally just hit the shelves in Bucky stores this Thursday.
What?
Yes, sir. So if you are out there and you find a barbecue sauce that's called Brotherton's barbecue sauce, or the kicked up sauces that's called burnt ends, like burnt ends from brisket.
Okay.
Clever name. But burnt ends is the sauces that he's got out. He's got 5 different sauces that are at Bucky's restaurants all over or Bucky's gas stations, whatever, all over the place now. Check it out. I absolutely guarantee you'll love it. But this guy is probably, they would call him, the place that we live in is called Pflugerville, PF, Pflugerville, and they call him the Franklins of Pflugerville.
And here's a good thing about it. He needed to hear that, though.
Dude knows his barbecue, man. It's just one of those things that when you try to go outside of what you can do, sometimes you don't necessarily get the results that you're looking for. So understand the cooker that you're cooking on, and understand that capacity, understand what you can do, and stick with it, man.
Amen. Well, Elton, I so appreciate you, brother. I've learned so much, and thank you for just coming in here and just helping me, bro. I really appreciate it, man.
Anytime, brother. I never got to get on a live stream with you, and I was telling Gene, I was like, man, TNT, man, let me see if I can pop in here. I hadn't talked to him, and it'll be fun to come hang out with you for a little bit. So I'm glad this happened, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate it too, man.
Anytime. Hey, before I get out of here, man, who you got for the big game?
Man, man, I got to go with the FLA where we stay playing parlay. Florida against the world, best football. Florida against the world, baby.
Hey, I think I'm there with you, man. I don't, if KC happens to win, I don't, it's cool. Mahomes is a Texas boy or whatever, but this story that is, in process here of being written about Tom Brady, you can't deny.
No, the best.
You can't deny it, man. I mean, come on, dude. 10 Super Bowls, and this could be his seventh ring. Come on, man. Come on. Hey, but as long as we have a good game and we got some excellent food, man, it's going to be a great time. Again, check me out tomorrow, man. I'm going to be on live throughout the day. We're going to pop on. Like I said, we're going to do some we're going to hang out on for you guys out there that don't know. We're going to be on Barbecue Boulevard, man, and we're going to hang out tomorrow, man. And the jug will make an appearance.
Okay, yeah. All right, now. Go ahead now. Be grown now.
Hey. We gonna try, man. We gonna try, but hey, everybody, y'all have a safe weekend. Have a fun time checking out the big game tomorrow. Whatever you cook, be passionate about it. Have fun. And,
all right,
Alpha is out, man.
Yeah. See you later, bro. Thank you.
All right, take it easy.
So, guys, man, that was my boy Elton, Mr. Matthews. He came on here and did his thing, man. Dropped that knowledge. And, that's what we're going to bring. That's what TNT try to bring. We try to bring the community. But, Mr. Davis, I'm going to answer your questions. You need help with them beef ribs, man. Basically, the beef ribs or beef back ribs. Are you talking about beef back ribs or the beef, those monster beef ribs? I prefer the beef back ribs. first thing to do is I will also check my quality. I will 100% go back, and if you're talking about the Walmart ribs that you get in a vacuum seal packages, the ones that as soon as you cut them open, the ribs sink down and you got bones showing. To me, I wouldn't cook those ribs. I will try to find a local butcher that can get you some real nice beef back ribs. And that's what I would do first. I would check my quality of beef I'm getting for beef back ribs. That'd be number one. Number two, I will keep a consistent temperature. I don't want to go too high with beef back ribs. I want to stay in that 225, work my way up to 250, end at 275. So when I'm at 275, for instance, like that's when I want to make sure that the fat is rendering, and then I want to go into a wrap. So when I go into my wrap, I want to keep my beef ribs meat side up, bone side down. And all I'm adding to my package is butter. I'm adding about 6 pads of butter on top of my beef ribs, bone side, in the middle for bone side down, meat side up. Once they get that tenderness, and you want to make sure that it goes through super tender. Okay, now you can eat them like that, but that's like eating pot roast. What you need to do is dump the juice out of your beef ribs, open them up, put them back on the smoker, and then get a brush and brush those beef ribs with the leftover drippings that's in the foil, the butter mixed with the seasoning. Do not re-season your beef ribs. They're going to look like they don't got no seasoning on them. They're going to look like all the seasoning has washed off of them. But if you re-season those beef ribs, they will get salty. So do not re-season your beef ribs. What you need to do is mop them with the dripping that came out of the foil package. You may get probably about a quarter cup of juice. You want to use that juice to mop and put it back on the smoker. Within 15, 25 minutes, your beef ribs are drying out. They're barking up. They're getting a nice consistency back. They still got the tenderness. They still got the flavor. But that is the most important thing. Then you take them out and you let them rest. And that's when you let them rest for that 30 minutes. And then you cut them. And you will have the best beef ribs. But to remember, the seasoning going to soak down into that meat. So you want to try the quality first. Get a better quality beef ribs. Study temperatures. You want to keep your temperatures to 225 for the first 2 hours, then an hour at 250, and then the rest of the time at 275. And when you're at that 275, that's when you wrap them. You want to render the fat. You want to break the connective tissues down. You want to tenderize the beef ribs. Then you want to pork. Then after you want to leave them in a wrap approximately an hour and stay tender. You want to make sure they're tender, probably an hour and a half, no more than 2 hours. And then you want to take them out that foil, save the juice, mop them with the juice, put them back on the smoker, let them tighten up, let them get the bark you want, but do not re-season those beef ribs. You'll make them too salty. And that's how I do my beef ribs. So I hope I helped you out with answering that question. Thank you. I hope that helps you out. To me, I don't like marinating beef ribs or certain meats because sometimes the marinade always takes over. And like I say, everything is an ingredient. So you want to treat the marinade as that. Sometimes the marinade can overtake the beef rib. So if I'm treating everything as an ingredient, I want to make sure that the marinade may be too strong for the beef rib. So yeah, I will most definitely try my best not to use marinades because to me, marinades, even steaks or, chicken, you can marinate chicken, but some marinades just overtake things and you can't really taste the smoke, can't really taste nothing but the marinade. So yeah, I lean more towards a good rub or mopping them or just basting the meat. That's why I lean more towards. But that's a good question. So yeah. So guys, we ain't got no more questions. I just want to say thank y'all for hanging out with me this morning. I'm finna finish my video on my my brisket, and I'm about to take him in and wrap it. So I need to shoot that video. Hey, thank y'all again, guys. All right, y'all be blessed. Peace. Love y'all guys.